Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to Shortcut Cooking with Lynn. I'm so excited today to share with you this recipe. We have for you today seafood macaroni and cheese. And here are the things you're going to need. We have our casserole dish that needs to be either buttered or sprayed with non-cooked cooking spray. You need about a half a cup of breadcrumbs. I use Italian breadcrumbs, and you also need the cheese of your choice. I use mild cheddar. You need some sauteed onions. I know you're saying onions and macaroni and cheese. I would never put onions in my regular baked macaroni and cheese, but remember this is seafood mac and cheese. You need about a cup and a half of sour cream. You need about a half a cup of butter. We have 4 different cheeses. We have sharp cheddar, mild cheddar, and a Colby Jack mix. The milk, I can't really give you a measurement because I kind of eye it, maybe about a cup and a half, but I just kind of mix it in, and if it looks a little dry, then I'll add more. We have lump crab meat. I usually use more lump crab meat, but I sent my son to the store and he was being cheap. So right now we just have a small amount. We have medium shrimp. They've already been peeled and deveined, and they're raw. And we also have about a pound of elbow macaroni and cheese. And we have for you garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, seafood seasoning, and salt. Okay, let's get started. Now we are going to use raw shrimp, excuse me. A lot of people make the mistake of cooking their shrimp for their seafood macaroni and cheese, and then they put it into the macaroni and cheese, but when you put it in the oven, it overcooks the shrimp, and the shrimp can come out rubbery or too hard. So I found that using raw shrimp is much better, okay? And we're also not going to make a bechamel sauce. This is Shortcut Cooking with Lynn, and I'm going to show you a quick, easy way that you don't need to spend the time to make a bechamel sauce, okay? Okay guys, so first we're going to incorporate our butter and our seasonings. You don't have to worry about melting the butter because the pasta is already hot and it's going to melt the butter immediately. So I'm going to put a little bit of the seasonings in. I won't use all of this, just a small amount. Remember, you want to layer everything, so we're doing the pasta first. We already have the shrimp in its seafood seasoning and the garlic and the onion powder and some paprika. And the same for the crab meat. So we're going to go ahead and stir and make sure every part or every piece of your pasta is covered with the seasoning. Next, we're going to add in our mild cheddar. And we're going to stir that in. Okay, next we have our sharp cheddar. And notice I'm not using the milk or the sour cream yet, and that's because they're both cold. I don't want to cool down my pasta because I want the hot pasta to melt everything, and that's why I don't have to use a bechamel sauce, because the hot pasta melts everything. And next we're going to put our onions in. Okay, now we're going to incorporate the sour cream, and it's actually not real cold. I took it out maybe about 15 minutes ago, so it's actually a little room temperature. Okay, next we're going to start incorporating our milk little by little just to see how much we need. Really going to use all of this, and then I'll stir it and see if I need more. And now we're going to add our Colby Jack mixture. Okay, so now we're going to start layering our macaroni and cheese. I layer it because I don't want to stir the shrimp in and the crab meat, and my whole pan of macaroni and cheese just tastes like seafood seasoning. So I rather layer it so you can taste the different flavors. The delicious flavor of the macaroni and cheese plus the delicious flavor of the seasoned shrimp and also the seasoned crab meat. So we're going to take a handful of shrimp. Just layer it in there, little by little. And guys, don't be stingy with the seafood. I've had seafood macaroni and cheese before, actually at a restaurant, and it probably was about 2 shrimp and the whole macaroni and cheese, and I was just disgusted. If you're calling it seafood macaroni and cheese, please put a nice amount of seafood in it, especially when you want to charge me lots of money. Okay, let's start adding a little of the crab meat. And I don't want to do too much of the crab meat. You don't want to grab it too hard because I want a nice amount of chunks in there to taste it good, to make sure you taste it. Okay. Okay, so we've added our second layer of macaroni and cheese, and we started adding our second layer of seafood. You guys, make sure you get the seafood all around, a nice mixture all over, so that almost every bite you can taste seafood. And do you see, guys, how we didn't have to make the bechamel sauce, but it looks like we made a bechamel sauce. And you know, bechamel sauce is nothing but a white sauce, and you add cheese to it for your macaroni and cheese for nice cheesy goodness. But you can have nice cheesy goodness without adding that also, without doing a bechamel sauce also. I'm a little upset my son was being so cheap at the store. It's so funny how kids, they'll spend your money, but ask them to get something from the store, they'll be cheap. Okay, now we're going to add our last layer of macaroni and cheese on top of the seafood. Okay, guys, we have finished layering our mac and cheese, our seafood mac and cheese. So now we're going to layer it with our cheese and breadcrumb mixture. And again, this is something that I would never do for my regular baked macaroni and cheese. I'm not a fan of putting breadcrumbs on my regular baked macaroni and cheese, but it's delicious on my seafood mac and cheese. I'm just gonna make sure you get it all over. Then guys, you want to be careful of the amount of salt that you use in your seasoning for this, because in our breadcrumbs you have salt, in the seafood seasoning there's salt. So you just want to be careful when you're seasoning the pasta. You just need just a couple pinches of salt, and that's about it. Just want to make sure it's all covered with the breadcrumbs and the cheese. Okay guys, so here's our finished product. Nice seafood cheesy goodness. Lynn's version of seafood mac and cheese. Look at that cheesy goodness. Okay, we're gonna plate it, guys. Okay guys, we plated it and we're gonna garnish it with a few green onions or scallions, whatever you wanna call them. I usually do this individual. I don't put it on top of the whole pan of seafood mac and cheese because everybody is not a fan of scallions or green onions, but I am. Okay guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. You can send me an email also at shortcutcookingwithlynn@gmail.com. Let me know how your seafood mac and cheese came out. Thanks guys. Talk to you next time. Don't forget, Boom! Now that's the shortcut way.